Welcome back to 1970s Germany, because for 20 points in autumn of Series 36 you can go ahead and grab yourself the Volkswagen SP-2. Where the SP1 is, I have no idea. So from stock, this thing comes with 75 brake horsepower, 96 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs just a shade under 1,970 pounds with a 1.68 litre engine. At this point, you could be forgiven for thinking it's kind of the precursor to the Volkswagen Polo, or just any other vehicle from that era, but it's a very nice Volkswagen indeed, and I believe there's also a Hot Wheels car made of this thing. Going to the inside, it does look pretty cool. We've got no screens inside because of course this was the 70s, and a lot of dials and gauges to look at. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a listen to that almighty 70-something brake horsepower. So going to the upgrade shop, we're going to jump straight to conversion and see what we've got for this thing. For engine swaps, we've got quite a fair few indeed. We've got ourselves the 2 litre flat 4 turbo, we've got the 2.5 litre flat 4 turbo, we've got a 2 litre flat 4 turbo rally, we've got a 4 litre flat 6, and a 2.6 litre racing flat 4. Very interesting indeed. If you want, you can also go ahead and make this thing all-wheel drive, which we'll do in just a little bit, and if you want turbos, don't worry because you can do that here, or you can also go ahead and supercharge it too. But something that's pretty cool is the fact we've got a body kit option for this thing, so let's go ahead and take a look. We have got, what do we have? Oh, it's fenders. Okay, there's not much difference at all in this thing. It just makes it a little bit wider. Going to aero and appearance, there is a lot to go through this time. We have got ourselves some rally lights. We also have ourselves the Forza splitter and the option to remove the front bumper entirely. Going to the back, we can either go ahead and throw a tyre on this thing. We can go ahead and put a tiny little spoiler on it, which does look pretty cool indeed. Or we can also go ahead and put on a little piece of plastic. As for the rear bumper, we've got no option but to remove it entirely. That's literally it. As for the side skirts of this thing, we can go ahead and put on some mud flaps, which honestly I think look pretty cool indeed. And then we've only got one bonnet or hood option, and that is, it's these little things right at the top which reside more on the roof than they do on the bonnet of the car. An interesting place to put them, but okay. In the meantime, our resident mechanic Mac is back once again with a brand new tune, so let's go ahead and load up the share code of that real quick. There it is, feel free to go ahead and download that. Much like I'm about to do right now, so let's go ahead and give it a download. So with all these upgrades, this thing is now a whopping 1,780 pounds, so very light, with nearly 400 brake horsepower at the top of A-class, which is honestly absolutely insane. As to how this thing's going to handle, I have got no idea. So going over to the paint shop, if we take a listen real quick, you can hear that I've somehow broken the game. Yeah, that idle's not supposed to be there. Anyway, going ahead and taking a look at advanced painting options, we've got two paint groups. Paint group number 1 is the main body of the car, and what is paint group number 2? What are we looking at here today? It is the stripes on the side. Okay, that's pretty cool. What is also pretty cool is the manufacturer colours, and oh boy, we've got a lot. We've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different colours for this thing, which is absolutely insane. But I think for the sake of just keeping this thing retro and cool looking, we're going to go with this. You know, I've only just noticed that the stripes on the side kind of fit in with the Hot Wheels tyres. Anyway, in the meantime, this is a pretty cool car indeed. Sadly, I've never had the chance to see one of them in person because, well, I'm a Brit and these things were made primarily for the Brazilian market. And as far as I can tell, they were only made for the Brazilian market only, which makes this thing very interesting. And away we go. We're now up against a whole heap of various assorted vehicles, and our aim is to finish on top in the first place. So hopefully the little SP2 here will do a pretty good indeed. I'm hoping it'll do alright. In fact, we've managed to somehow get ourselves up into 5th already, and we've only just got to the roundabout. Yep, the same one where the coffee shop is. Now, unlike Friday's Aston Martin, although this thing was only made for the Brazilian market, they made a lot. Over 10,200. In fact, I believe it's 10,205 to be precise. So there's quite a lot of those still out on the roads. I just wish I could have seen one, because so far I haven't. Although these things do come at a price, they will cost you a little bit, and the prices do vary depending on condition and where they're being sold. Because at the moment, at least in the UK, they are being sold for anywhere between £18,000 up to £37,000 this thing, which is absolutely insane. And hopefully I'll have the American unit conversion on screen about now. Or at least I do if I remember to edit that bit in. So something I've got to note about this tune are the brakes are genuinely brilliant. Honestly, I could slam on the brakes. I'm not going to because there's a bunch of cars behind me. But I can slam on the brakes in this thing pretty quickly, and it comes to an almost a dead stop within probably about 5 seconds. I just need to learn how to turn, apparently. I'm sure we'll get that one day. So here we are now on the little sort of twistier part of the test track. Now, usually on my regular runs, we go off to the left, but I've decided to go for a little bit of a different track today. So we're going to branch off to the right. And from here, it's practically just a couple of sweeping bends and a lot of power straight to the finish. So let's get going there. And indeed, across the line we go with a lot of space between us and everybody else. A rather wonderful first place and a time of 2 minutes 50. Okay, so here we are now over at the upgrade shop once again after a very interesting race result. In fact, I think this thing did pretty well. However, there is always more, because if we go back to fine tuning setups and give it a moment to load, we will see that there is this tune over here by the name of, hold up, wait a minute. Okay, the wait a minute wasn't there, but you get where this is going. This is our drag built SP-2, so let's go ahead, load this thing up and see what we're working with. And the answer to that is 1,926 pounds in weight with nearly 960 brake horsepower, just about nearly, I'd say, about a third of the way through S1. So let's go ahead and install. Man, I forgot how long this game takes to save anything. Okay, so here we are now over at the back of the festival. Let's go ahead and get a bit of a wheelie check like we normally do. And oh wow, this thing does not disappoint. So if that does it going forwards, I wonder what it does going backwards. There you go, Mac. That's a challenge for you. In the meantime, let's go ahead and see if we can try and launch this thing without it going absolutely mental. In fact, we'll try and start in second. And away we go. Only a little bit of a wheelie off the line, but let's go ahead and see what we get down the drag strip. Again, this thing doesn't have the most powerful of engines, but it is honestly hilariously light. So let's go ahead and see we get, okay, 186 through the camera, and off the end of the drag strip we've got ourselves 206, which is not too bad, and we still can't brake. This happens every time. Okay, so now the fun thing is we get to go ahead and have a little bit of fun with this thing. So we're going to go ahead, slap on the wide body just because we can. And we're also going to go ahead and I think maybe we'll try installing the 2.6 litre racing flat 4. Or not, because apparently I can't do much with that. Okay, back to the 4 litre. I think the cool thing I've just noticed is each time I rev this thing, the body of it moves just a tiny bit. Brakes, yep, I think we're going to need those. So I wonder just how low this thing can get. Well, I guess that answers my question. Roll cage. Health and safety is optional. And by the end of it, this is what we're looking at for stats. Not too bad, and we're just inside the top of S1. Honestly, at this point, I kind of wasn't even trying to keep it in S1, but apparently it still did, so I'm happy. Well, I was. Then I saw this gear ratio, so I'm going to finish tuning this, and I'll be right back. In the meantime, here's this week's Forza shop. We've got the Koenigsegg Regera, we've got the Donut Media Black Hoodie, the Donut Media Relaxed Tee, the Porsche 918 Spider, and also the Donut Media Pop-Up Headlights Car Horn. Yeah, I think we all know how it goes, but I'm going to play it for you anyway. Pop up and down headlights. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all knew that was coming. And we've also got ourselves the Horizon Super Wheel Spin and the regular Horizon Wheel Spin as well. And now, to the motorway. Okay, so one full day-night cycle later and a little cool wing on the back, we are now over at the edge of the motorway. So we're on launch control and away we go. Time to go ahead and see what top speed we get out of this thing. I'm hoping it's going to be something pretty good indeed, because once again, you know, nearly 960 odd brake horsepower. I'm just hoping for a really good top speed, or at least something that I can put in the title. And all of me wants to really like this car, because it's kind of cool, it's novel, you don't see many of these things. I don't know, I'm just happy it's here. And out of the speed zone at 227.67 miles an hour. We still have the downhill and camera to go, so let's go ahead and get going and see what we get through those. Speaking of the camera anywhere, there it is, 236.26 miles an hour. Going downhill, 240, 241 at 242. Do we match 243? We do. We literally match how fast we went on Friday with an Aston Martin in this thing. Honestly, didn't think I'd be doing that today, but here we are. Although, like normal, we of course have one thing left, and that's this turn right here. Yes, I'm kidding. Of course, it is the drift zone. So let's go ahead and chuck this thing in here and see what we get. That was a wall. We're not getting anything from that. Just gonna change a couple things here and there. Anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and throw this thing back in here again. And now we're sideways. That's much better. Right, let's see what score we get out of here. Hopefully something good. It is 39,413 points. And only has to redo the entire car. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw this thing back in for round number 2. Hopefully we get something good out of this. We've got to beat 39,400. I don't know if that's going to happen this round. Nope, not quite, but we did get close. 38,905 points. The fact we nearly got 40,000 on both runs is honestly concerning. In the meantime, that is the absolute mighty little powerhouse that is the Volkswagen SP-2. This thing it's tiny, it's absolutely crazy, and honestly, I love it. Definitely go and pick this thing up for yourself. 20 points on the playlist, should only take you about half an hour's worth of work, and you get a tiny little car with a lot of potential. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Tech out. See ya. Wait a sec, does this mean there's an SP3?